Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see from this victory screen, the good news is, unless you root for me to always fail, in which case I guess this is bad news, I defeated Danny Moonstar on Thronebreaker difficulty. Keep in mind I save my Thronebreaker paths mainly for event quest completion, of which at the time of recording this, Paragon players are deep into the event quest completion task for the month of June. I beat her. The only boss I have needed to use any items on so far has been Omega Red, of which most of the champions that I brought with me, like Nick Fury and even stupidly Baron Zemo, were, of course, bleed champs, which is a horrible thing to bring with you when you're fighting Omega Red as a boss. So I had to pump a couple of overflow level 2 revives into Kingpin and still needed them to take him down. Not so much with Danny Moonstar, but what I did notice was something, kind of embarrassing to admit, but also it felt like a bug until I realized it wasn't a bug. This isn't a bug, this is the future. That's probably going to be the title of this video. Sounds kind of dramatic, but I brought in Nick Fury, and then Nick Fury never became the real Nick Fury. Nick Fury went from losing that 100% health to just, dying. Or being knocked out, excuse me. They're not technically a death. This is a family-friendly game, family-friendly channel. We don't like to imply that champions never resurrect. I mean, look at Realm of Legends Winter Soldier. He's got like 1 billion lives. But Nick Fury never became the real Nick Fury in this fight. He just got knocked out. And it was a weird feeling thinking that is completely normal now in this game. I don't think we can state enough how much of a shift that is in the future of the game, because if Danny Moonstar, someone who isn't a mystic champion, right, somebody who's just a new champion with a new mechanic, is going to do that, you better believe, just like with Root before Danny, just like so many others, we have never seen this before. But we will see it again, because the game has to evolve. The history of this game is that whoever is dominates for a while, and then kabam creates a new champion to dominate that champion, and the cycle repeats itself. For a long time, the number one Alliance War boss was Magic. Hard to believe that now. She was unstoppable. And then kabam created Blade. And for a while, Blade was the answer to Magic. And then they silently nerfed Blade. And then we had champs like Ghost step up and Corvus. And we now know that there are so many different nodes to take on all of them. Hercules right now is one of the longest running dominant champs ever at the number one spot. Kabam knows this. We know this. They have laughed. I'll never get out of my head how many times, and I've only seen a couple of the Kabam live streams, Kabam Jax has not rudely, but just like understandably mocked the idea that the 7-star Hercules is going to be a thing, at least anytime soon. I think Kabam knows they created a monster with Hercules, and they're doing their best to figure out how to nerf him indirectly so that people don't demand compensation. They actually have to give compensation. Now, to be clear, just because Danny Moonstar can cancel out Hercules' immortality doesn't mean Hercules still isn't amazing. But it does limit his entire awakened ability, which I think so many people, including myself, have not only put potentially awakening gems or certainly chosen to do, say, wish crystals on, but certainly put to as many SIGs as possible, in many cases, including myself, SIG 200. So, Nick Fury suddenly isn't as valuable. Hercules isn't suddenly as valuable. That's not saying they don't still have a lot of value, but that's Kabam's goal. And I think we're going to start to see this trend more, because this is the future of the game. And while I can kind of be bummed that I couldn't get Nick Fury to be the quote-unquote real form of himself here, or if I brought Hercules in, that I couldn't have that incredible immortality lead to just devastating bouts of damage done, I think I shouldn't be surprised. No one should be surprised that this is where Kabam's going, because if they had nerfed him formally, they would have had so much of really just grievances in hell, including for me and this YouTube channel, that they would not have potentially survived the PR of that. So it's easier to create a new champion that does the damage for them than it is, here. Keep in mind that KT once interviewed someone from Kabam who said that if Hercules and Kitty Pryde had had the rebalancing program that's instituted now, they would have been rebalanced and tweaked to be less powerful. I believe that those two champions, among maybe others, are the reason why this rebalancing program even exists. And so this is just a constant reminder that the game always evolves and always looks, whether it be through new nodes or new champions or both, to limit the effectiveness after you've spent the money, of course. And in Hercules' case, it could be thousands of dollars to get the champion, awaken the champion, max sig the champion. So, Danny Moonstar, a tip of the cap to you. You reminded me with this Nick Fury fight that this is the future of the game, and yet I'm still a little bitter.